All right, enough. Put that crowd in slavery. What's going on, guys? Fantasy football is back, baby. Trainwreck fantasy coverage is back. I can't wait to get started with you guys. We're starting with some starts and sits for week one. So let me just get right into it. Well, let me first say, go Bills. We beat the shit out of those Hollywood pricks, and I've never felt better about a week one. We're going undefeated 20. No, it's not even funny. Okay. Now that's out of the way. We're doing some start and sits. So I'm going to start with the quarterbacks. I'm going to alternate start and then a sit. So the first one I'm going with is maybe somebody that is not at the top of your mind or probably at the exact back of your mind. But if you're like me and you punted on the QB position in any of your drafts, you're kind of left in a rough scenario once you're looking at the waiver wire. But lucky for me, I found a player that I feel pretty confident in, at least for week one, that I believe will outperform expectations. And that's Jameis Winston. I know what you're saying. You know, Jameis is a bum. Jameis is this. Jameis is that. You know, the guy gets a bad rep. You know, they just remember him being the first player in NFL history to throw for 330 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. He's 33 and 44 as a starter. But let me put this into perspective for you, just with some statistics. I'm going to give you two players through the first 5 years of their careers. I'm going to start with Jameis. He has 19,735 yards or 37 yards, 121 touchdowns, 88 interceptions, and a 61.3% completion percentage. And that was pre-LASIK surgery. This next player, Hall of Fame player, Peyton Manning, had 20,618 yards, 138 touchdowns, 100 interceptions, and a 62.1 completion percentage through his first 5 years. Now, am I saying Jameis Winston is Peyton Manning? Hell no. But, you know, people's memories are short. You remember last year, he opened the season like a firecracker, throwing 5 touchdowns against Green Bay. And then he dealt with injuries throughout the rest of the year. So people kind of just forgot about him. The offensive line is still solid. Michael Thomas is back. They added Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave. Their defense is still stout. And as if there wasn't enough icing on the cake to play week one, Atlanta has the 29th worst passing defense in the league. You know, I'm expecting Jameis to rise to the occasion this week, put up some valuable numbers that are currently free of charge in most leagues. You can just get them off the waiver wire. So that's my first QB start of the week. I'm going to go to a sit of the week, and it's also going to be quarterback. And this is going to be an unpopular opinion amongst a lot of people, but let me just remind you, this is just for week one. Trey Lance, I'm sitting him. Don't get me wrong, I love Trey Lance. Most people have him as their dark horse MVP, which is in the realm of possibility. But you know, he has all the talent to succeed, but he's still underpolished. And I don't really think that he's going to match people's expectations as fast as they think he will. He kicks off the season at Soldier Field playing a sorry Bears team, which seems like a perfect time to play him, right? That's until you look at the over-under. It's 40.5, giving San Francisco an implied total points of 23.5. So unless Trey Lance is the only one scoring touchdowns for his team, preferably rushing touchdowns, I don't think that we're going to see the Trey Lance that many people are expecting, the MVP Trey Lance, right off the bat. As the season progresses, so will he. The game will slow down for him more, and he'll learn from his mistakes. He'll fix them. Down the line, he could be a very valuable fantasy asset. But as for week one, I personally have San Francisco on upset alert. Ideally, if I had another quarterback that I felt comfortable starting over Trey Lance, at least for week one, that's the direction I would be going in. But, you know, follow your gut. Like, this is just guidelines. I'm just throwing stats out. Stats are for nerds. They do help make educated decisions, but at the end of the day, it's really gut feelings are kind of what wins, at least me, weeks. So I'm going to go back to the starts. And this is a guy that I fell in love with this draft season just because of his ADP, really. And that's Tyler Lockett. I got him in the 8th round. Like I understand Seattle is downgraded across the board. They have no idea who their quarterback is. They have a crap run game. Their offensive line stinks. Their defense stinks. But if you look at Lockett, like he's kind of gotten overshadowed by DK Metcalf. People just look at the Greek god and DK Metcalf and they're like, oh my God, like this guy's an absolute stud. While quietly over the past 4 years, Tyler Lockett has wrapped up 312 receptions for 4,251 yards and 36 touchdowns through the air in 64 games, not missing one game. Not only that, he hasn't missed a game in the past 5 years, which is 80 games in a row played. He's strung 4 consecutive wide receiver 20 or better years in a row. People are worried about, Geno Smith, Drew Lock, but they're still drafting DK. And their thought process is someone's got to catch the ball. In my opinion, I think they're going to check the ball down a lot more. I think DK is more of a downfield threat, intermediate to downfield threat. And I don't think the quarterbacks have what it takes to make those throws on a consistent basis for DK to return that value. Or on the other hand, Tyler Lockett runs these underneath routes that are so valuable for PPR. And timid quarterbacks like that are going to want to check the ball down. I think he's extremely undervalued. And especially in this game specifically against Denver, Patrick Surtain and Ronald Darby are going to be keying in on DK, which will give Lockett plenty of room underneath to make him a valuable PPR asset this week and in the weeks to come. They'll probably rely on play action West Coast concepts to get the ball out quickly. I hear get the ball out quickly. I think Tyler Lockett because, quick route running. He's not like a straight downfield runner like DK running posts and fly routes all day. I think they're essentially going to run through the air through these short intermediate passes, and these short passes are going to go to Lockett. So I think that I'm starting Lockett confidently in many leagues. And I got him in the 8th round. So I'm pretty hyped about that. Now let's go back to the fun stuff, sits. Okay, so this is kind of like a shot at myself because I also have this guy, Breece Hall. Breece Hall, his talent's undeniable, right? He's an absolute animal. The problem is, he's in New Jersey, and it looks like Greg Sala is leaning towards a running back by committee approach to start the season. And that is the last thing you want to hear if you're drafting a running back in the 3rd and 4th round, that 1, they're on a poor team, and 2, it's a running back by committee. Not to mention Zach Wilson's hurt, Mekhi Becton's hurt, and they're playing a tough Baltimore defense that will most likely be ahead. And the Jets are going to trail most of the game, which is going to completely eliminate, Breece Hall from the game script. So I think personally I'm taking the wait and see approach with Breece Hall, see if I can get him in a couple matchups, like if he plays some poor teams or if he, is the clear-cut number 1 down the road. But to start the season, he's starting on my bench. I want to see what happens. Don't want to take too long here. My next one is also, I really like this star. It's Kadarius Toney, also an 8th round pick. The problem with Toney was his red flag was injuries, right? But you can't deny he's one of the most electric players in the game with the ball in his hands. However, he started the season on the PUP list because of a knee procedure or something. But as of today, and I checked this morning, September 9th, he's officially cleared from the PUP list and ready to establish himself as the wide receiver 1 the Giants most desperately need. And I know what you're thinking. The Giants suck. Daniel Jones suck. He couldn't throw a rock in the ocean if he was standing on the beach. All true. But you have to expect they will take a step forward when it comes to play calling with Dable leading the helm. Dable makes it a point to get the ball in his best player's hands, and in this instance, that's Kadarius Toney. When healthy, start him with confidence. Your only issue with Kadarius Toney is if he's hurt. If he's healthy, you start him. That's just my opinion. So next we got Damien Pierce, and I have a couple shares of him across the board. See, I like Damien Pierce, but not so much in this matchup. Everyone knows that Damien Pierce hype train was off the rocker this offseason. Like Houston calling them their bona fide number one starting running back, hyping him up, this and that, which is great. And that's why I drafted him, because there was good news, but you got to remember, it's Houston. They suck. They're gonna be trailing most of the time, and that's not a great positive game script for a running back like Damien Pierce. Like, in order for him to grind, they got to be up, running the clock. And I mean, not that I know so much about him, but the way it looks like he plays is physical. Tire out your opponent, just keep hitting them in the face until they get tired. But if you're losing, you can't do that. Not to mention the Colts defense is stout against the run. So I'm gonna wait and see with Damien Pierce. I'm still happy I have him, but in this instance, I'm going to keep him on my bench. And I think I'm starting Kareem Hunt over him, actually, who is also an honorable mention. I'll just skip up to that. So an honorable mention for my starts is actually Kareem Hunt. Just linking it together. So I mean, he was going mad late in drafts this year. I got him in the 5th round, 6th round. Have him in almost every single one of my leagues. Reason being, he asked for a trade at the start of the offseason, and of course they denied him. But I think one or two things is going to happen from that. One, they're going to get him the ball more to make him happy. Or two, they're going to get him the ball so he has more on his resume. He has more good games on his resume, so a team will reach out to them with a fair offer to trade for him. And in that scenario, he goes to a team, becomes the bell cow. That's a running back one, drafted in the 5th round. But we're not talking about the draft right now. We're talking about week 1. So, that it basically all ties back in. If I'm Stefanski, regardless if I want to trade him or not, or I want to keep him happy, I'm giving him the ball this game. I would be hard pressed to think that he doesn't score a touchdown. I'm thinking 60 yards, a tug, and maybe a few catches, depending on how the game goes. But he's an honorable mention because he's a decent fill-in flex running back too, that if gets traded could be a league winner. So I'm starting him. I think he'll score. Definitely starting him over Breece Hall. So this one's gonna maybe piss a few people off, this bust. And let me remind you, this is just for week 1, not the entire season. But my final bust is Juju SmithSchuster for week 1. And I already know what you're going to say. Like, I'm crazy. He's a number 1 pass catcher and one of the most successful passing offenses of our decade. My issue is that he's just not Tyreek Hill. Period. Nobody's Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill opens the field for everyone else to get theirs. Juju's a great wide receiver too for an NFL team. I'm just worried if the responsibilities of being a wide receiver 1 may prove to be too much for him, drawing elite players to cover you, not really being able to take plays off, being that guy that everyone looks at. And I'm not saying that he's not a leader. I'm not saying he can't be that person, but nobody is Tyreek Hill. They're going to be keying in on him, man. Like, the keyed in on Tyreek. But I don't know, man. I just don't think he fits their system very well. I think the Chiefs take a step back. And the only thing that's really making me question this sit is that the over-under is 54. Chiefs minus 6.5. So, I mean, I like the over-under. I don't think the Chiefs are going to win this game. Like, I'm in my mind right now, I'm deciding that I'm going to take Cardinals plus 6. But that's off topic. Yeah. So I mean, if you see 54 points, total scored, you're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to start skill players. I'm going to start a wide receiver one for that team, because 54 points, it's a lot of points. And I know this is probably going to be the one I got wrong, but I just have a gut feeling. he's going to get locked down. Like you saw what happened after Antonio Brown left and he was the wide receiver one. Wasn't awful. He wasn't awful, but he wasn't Antonio Brown. He's not Tyreek Hill. He's a wide receiver too. Kansas City doesn't have a wide receiver one. And it depends on where you drafted Juju. If you have better options out there, I don't. So I'll probably be playing him because I have trash cans as bench receivers. So I hope I'm wrong, right? But with that over under, I honestly just think Kyler and the Cardinals are gonna put up the points to hit that. I don't know if it goes over, but I don't see the Chiefs. I don't really see them scoring 28 points. I don't see them scoring more than 3 touchdowns. And I could be wrong. I'm often wrong, but I'm here, and this is what I'm saying. So listen or don't. I guess it all comes down is, can Juju fill the role that Tyreek left? And I'll let you guys answer that yourself. And sidebar, I have no hate for Juju. I have him in one of my leagues. I hope he has a great season, but I'm treating him as a wait and see type prospect. But I'm still starting him because, like I said, my bench receivers are full of infants. I think one more, and this is a good one. Hold on one second. I don't even know what I'm looking at. There's nothing even in here. My last start is Robert Tonyan. He's gone late, undrafted on many people's waiver wires, I'm sure. So he's kind of slipped through the cracks because he went through. He's 10 months removed for tearing his ACL. Happened in week 8 last season. I'm keeping a close eye on his progress because if he progresses to the point of suiting up, he immediately becomes the pass catcher with the most chemistry that Rodgers has. Losing Devontae Adams, 31% of the target share goes up for grabs. I know they got Romeo Doubs. I know they got Christian Watson, and Alan Lazard. But Tonyan is Rodgers' security blanket if Devontae wasn't already. So I could very well see plays breaking down and Rodgers looking to Tonyan like you were to be looking at Devontae. That's not to say that it'll work all the time, but targets are targets. You're getting this guy off of waivers that could potentially be a top 12 tight end or tight end one for you, especially if you're thin at the position. I think it's worth taking a flyer on him. I would even go as far to say if he is listed as healthy this week, I would consider playing him. Although I drafted early tight ends in all my leagues, so I wouldn't need to. But maybe I'll stash them on my bench and use them as trade bait. Yeah, man. So that's what we got. We're going to be doing this every week. If you have any questions or gripes, keep them to yourself. I'm doing the best I can. So I'm just going to try my best to just never be wrong. And we'll all be happy. All right, boys and girls. You already know this train never stops. Go Bills.